Hello, everybody, and welcome to Hash Rate. My guest today is Jill Kenny of Sundae Bar, Subnet 121. Hello, Jill. How you doing?
Hello. Nice
Good
to
to
be here, Mark.
Great to see you. So I love the name of your Subnet. It's a very unusual
Yes.
name. It's Sundae Bar, right? Not Sunday
Yeah.
Bar, and it's Sunday AE, like hot fudge Sunday, right? So,
Yeah.
and for those, and I didn't know what it was. I just saw this like Sunday Bar thing start creeping up the chart, and I'm like, what's that? And
Yeah.
we live in a world where there's a lot of like meme subnets and stuff. So I didn't really, I wasn't really sure what I was looking at. Once I came to understand what you were doing, you were allowing people to define their own AI agents, custom AI agents, get them served up to them, much like an ice cream sundae at a Sundae bar. So I'd like two
Exactly.
scoops of vanilla with chocolate with nuts on top and a side of banana. So yes?
And they add the sprinkles.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's it. It's exactly what it is. So a little bit of a backstory on how we got here. We are the result of two merged companies that were publicly listed in London. And then we relisted them on June 3rd as Sundae Bar with the full intention to build an AI agent marketplace as our core business. So a place where developers can host, scale, monetize their agents, have them visible to a wide audience, and where businesses individuals can search through all the agents available and find the one that works for them. And we're really focused on utility agents where we're excited and we see a huge growth opportunity is these agents acting as teammates, helping improve productivity, reduce time spent on tasks, and really integrate into teams as team members. And they can be varied. And this is where the subnet gets really excited for us, because what we've recognized is some people, like if you and I both wanted the same personal assistant agent today, it would be doing very different things. Like we might have different email sources. We might have different calendars. I might be having it scrape for like our SBAR, our publicly traded companies, ticker news sources, etc. So what we're trying to do, like you said, like Sundays, is serve up these customizable agents and leverage our subnet to be that pipeline to do so.
It reminds me a lot of Ridges. Like it's sort of like Ridges is a very specific case of make
Yeah.
me an agent, which writes software for me according to my instructions. You're like, okay,
Exactly.
let's take like that Ridges idea, which has worked incredibly well for them, obviously, and
Yeah, Ridges is
generalize it.
amazing.
Yeah, and make it sort of customizable. So I was reading through your site. So one example of an agent that you're describing, there's the personal assistant. You just talked
Yeah.
about that. There's also like an HR agent, right? So if I,
Yeah.
if I need to hire like 100 engineers, I can
Lucy.
say, yeah, I can say, hey, so go write the job description, agent. Go post it like on Craigslist or wherever, and then when the resumes start coming in, start processing them, interview the candidates, pre-interview them, and then send me only
Send
the
me
best
the
ones.
top four. Yeah. Exactly. And you could even take it one step further and say, these are the best ones now, email them and book it in my calendar.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So like the framework and the template of the agent, a lot of the times can be similar across the board. But there is a part of it that'll be customizable, like we talked about, because if you were looking at the HR agent, your CRM that you use could be different from what I use. So this is where we do need it tweaked. And we do see a gap in the marketplace right now where when we're talking to clients and we're researching, and obviously we got into this business because we see that there is a huge upside to it. People have teams and money ready to deploy, people meaning businesses, but they're having troubles finding that agent that matches their need. And so we want to be the conduit to that. So, and we want to make the process as seamless as possible because not everyone's a dev. And not everyone can like take a piece of code and implement it into their workflows. Like that is friction, in my opinion. And so we want to serve up agents as simply as possible to them.
So you provide the hosting of the agents itself, right?
Well, no, we don't.
You don't. Okay.
No. So right now our platform runs Letta agents. And so Letta is an incredible company founded by two UC Berkeley PhD students. They graduated from the Sky Computing Lab. So you're like, whoa, you guys
Okay.
are legit. And we can run their agents integrated onto our platform through our framework, but they're not hosted on Sundae Bar. And the reason why we love the Letta agents is because they're not model specific. So you, as an agent builder, you could build with like GPT's latest models or Claude's latest models. They host them all. And they also are really focused on stateful agents, which means that the agent, evolves over time with your learnings and trainings, which is really important to us because, as we're saying, we want these agents to be human like integrated teammates. You don't hire a junior level assistant that just does the same task over again. You need it to evolve with you. So our first partnership with them is we can fully integrate in with Letta. So if you build an agent on Letta, it integrates into our portal. All as a user, you could have 7 different Letta agents running at the same time, and you can interact with them like the front end interface right on our platform, but we're not hosting it on the back end.
Okay, so that's unlike Ridges, because Ridges, I know, the inference is provided by Targon and Shoots. So, Ridges basically, my understanding is, I know the inference is provided by Targon and Shoots. I know because Shaq has said that. So that's not what you're doing. You're partnered with Letta. Letta is providing the inference. They host all the models and they host the actual agents. Yes. Okay. So that makes sense. And there's sort of two pieces to what you're doing, right? So there's I can go to the Sundae Bar and order up my custom agent and we'll get into like what that process is, but that's sort of number one. But then there's sort of the catalog of all the agents that have been created, right? That I can go and thumb through and be like, oh, look what other people have done in the past. I want to rent that one. So tell me a little bit about like the catalog and what's in there right now.
Yeah, so we have, I haven't actually looked today, but we probably have over 200 agents in the catalog. And these are all organically uploaded by developers. So anyone that builds an agent on any agent builder can post them on our platform. So like you can run Letta agents on our platform, but you can host your agent on our platform and anyone can access it. And so like our goal is to create the biggest catalog of agents, period. So when a user comes, they have our system. We have created our own agent called Scout, which is essentially the initial interface that a user will engage with to find their agent. So you could search through them all, or you could just say, hey, Scout, I'm looking for an HR agent. I want it to do this. It will then say, hey, I found you. Here's 5 agents that I suggest, or here's 2 agents that I suggest. And you can refine your search for your agent with Scout to get the agent that makes the most sense for you. So the more agents we have on the platform, the better it is for us because we will start to be able to meet customer needs. And so when we look 6 months down the road and there's thousands of agents on the platform, we'll be able to match that agent to that customer easier. However, if you get to a point where you still need customization on it, this is where we really want to pull in the subnet to be that layer for us that delivers those customizable agents back to the platform. And then they go back into our marketplace and it's like this virtual cycle. So like there's 2 ways agents can get on the platform. They can come from our subnet, from the devs, or they can come from anyone that's making an agent anywhere.
And so the people who are making agents on other things other than Letta, not on your platform, those are ostensibly hosted somewhere else, right?
Yeah,
I think,
exactly.
Right? So it's like, I make an agent over here and I'm hosting it over here. And then I can come to Sundae Bar and fill out a form and get listed? Is that how it works?
To find and purchase. Yeah. Oh, so to host your agent, yes.
Yeah, to get a listing, right? Like, so you're creating this catalog, right? So I might be like, well, I'm over here. I've created this agent. I want to get listed on Sundae Bar because that's the mall. That's where the foot traffic is, right? I want to be in there. So how do I get in there if I've listed my agent somewhere else? Is there a form that I have to fill out? Like, how does that work?
Yes. So to list an agent on Sundae Bar, we have an agent submission form. So you sign up as an agent developer, you put in all of your information. You have your own account, and then under that account, you can upload as many agents as you want. And what's really important about that is you get vetted by us, you get listed by us, but we're also the payment mechanism. So we will, every time you sell your agents, we collect the money and we redistribute it to you. So we're a full marketplace. So you could have your, like, and a lot of people do, like, if you think about like Airbnb, for example, like they help customers find what house they want. They facilitate, that transaction to get the customer to the buying point. Your whole payment system's done through Airbnb, and away you go. So that is the whole purpose of it. And just because we're in this position where, we've only been live, like we listed on June 3rd, it's a two-sided marketplace. Having as many high quality agents on the platform that people want to hire and buy is our end goal. That's how we make revenue. So it is really important for us to have that pipeline coming in. So you can come in through other sources, or you can come in via the subnet.
Very interesting. So you are the payment. So sort of like Amazon, when there's like vendors that sell their stuff, but they sell it on Amazon. Amazon is the one who collects the money and then gives it to the vendor later and does all the payment processing and all that. So that's what you're doing. Interesting. Yeah, I think like an Amazon of agents is like how I think of it. So kind of cool.
Or like an Apple App Store, or the App Store on Apple, and the agents are the apps. And then for us, we make, on Sundae Bar side, we make revenue three ways. We take a percentage, or Shopify would be another really good example, having shops. So we take a percent of sales. So each agent that gets hired, we have a percent of sales. We are working towards our version of what an ad model is. And we believe it's very agentic. So again, if our interface is primarily being used for, you land on us, you're interacting with our agent to find what you want. How do developers, we push their agents up as sponsored. So if you want an HR agent and Lucy, who's on our platform, has paid X amount, it'll be sponsored agent. Yeah. And then we're also, exactly. Also monthly fees. So as you host your agents, and we build in more and more tools to make your hosting experience better, metrics, marketing materials. This is very much like Shopify. Because we see agent developer as its own entrepreneur. It's either their side hustle or their main business, and they are developing, creating these tools for people to buy. So how do we get them in front of as many people as possible in the best way possible so their sales go up? Because when their sales go up, ours go up, it's better for them. So it's the actual basic business model of Sundae Bar is, I love it because it's so simple. It's a marketplace.
Yep. Makes sense. So how much how much does it cost to like rent an agent on average?
It really depends. And this is where it's like, you've got to walk before you run to know. And even in the agent space. So I do advise on the marketing side for some another company who's building agents, and they have a very robust agent. And so they're most do token usage for the agent. So it can cost a customer anywhere from $200 to $1,000 a month, depending on what they want. You could have an agent that's just like an email scraper. And then your cost will really be related to what that agent does. Yeah. And then the usage the user puts on top of that.
That makes a lot of sense.
What we've estimated, or what we believe will happen, is initially agent costs will probably be higher, but their sales will be lower. So you might initially your agent costs $3,000, say, but you're only going to do 10 sales. That cost will probably come down, but your sales, there's no cap on it. You can have infinite amount of customers. So we'll probably see the price come down as models get smarter, cheaper, etc. But their level of sales should move from 10 a month to 10,000 a month.
Wow. Yeah. So if I make like a killer agent that just used like crazy, I could be making some serious bank. and then you take,
100%.
yeah, I can actually do
Yeah.
incredibly well here. So yeah, so there's great motivation to come up with one. And here's
Yeah.
the cool part. Like, I don't even have to know how to do this. I can just sit in my house and define it and like write out, okay, I want it to do this, I want it to do that, hand it to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll use the subnet to make my agent, which I can then turn around and maybe make bank with. Yes?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is super cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about the agent creation. So I come to you and I'm like, okay, I want to make an agent. I define it, and maybe I'm kind of a shitty, maybe I don't write the best
Yes.
spec, right? So that's one problem, maybe, right? Maybe I do. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm great at it, right? But probably I'm not. Maybe I'm guessing, but so I
I
assume
think you'd
there's
be
probably,
very good.
I might be. Well, I've gotten better at it over the years, but I'm just saying.
But
Like,
it is an art. It is an art for sure.
I started life as an engineer, so I tend to think like engineers, so I can usually
Yeah.
talk in like engineer speak. But let's just say, is there a process where you refine the spec that comes in, and do
Yes.
I pay you, and how much do I pay you? Like, run me through the process.
Yeah. So it's been a really important, probably week of reckoning for us here, because at the end of the day, we know what we want. We want agents that people will buy. Leveraging the subnet and how we get there has been a learning. And I think we're extremely fortunate to be in a community like BitTensor, where people are willing to put their hands up to support, because you do want to get it right, and you want to make sure it's not gamified while still supporting your business. So we've had incredible feedback across the board, and we did publish what we plan to do about a month ago, probably. And we've just refined that process. We've simplified it and reduced the gamification. So how it works, and we will be polishing this. So I will be updating everyone via GitHub.
To be fair, everybody in the space is learning. Nobody has the magic formula completely nailed yet. So, all attempts are valid.
Yeah,
please
exactly. Yeah. And so how we are going to do it is on Sundae Bar. Customer comes, we will collect the information for that brief, and we will actually be working with that customer, either one-to-one if it's complex, or autonomously if that works as well, to distill that information into a brief that sets the developer up for success to meet the needs of the agent. Because like you said, it is a real skill and an art, and that brief needs to be, in my opinion, really airtight, because you don't want 3 lines and the developer's like, what? I don't get it, And so then that brief will be paid by the client, because we want to make sure these are real clients that, and it's using a lot of energy and time to do. Developers will build their agent against that.
How much do I pay?
It's going to be priced. So that will be it'll be priced like we talked about. If you come to me and you're like, I'm Shell Oil and I want to integrate it in all my standard, that is going to cost you a lot more than, like Siam gave me the example of one. He would love an agent that went through his YouTube comments and pulled out which ones were not bots. So he knew which ones to respond. So that would be a simpler build.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the pricing we will handle,
Scaling,
we're going to learn
pricing, custom pricing based on what you
custom pricing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do I pay? Do I pay with fiat, or do I pay with crypto, or how does the payment rail work?
Fiat is the payment rail to start. We have Stripe Connect in the platform. So fiat to start. And then the developers build that agent off the brief. It then
so the miners all compete to build the best agent based on the brief. Or did I skip a step?
No, that's it. That's the first step.
Okay.
So paid brief comes in, Sundae Bar distills all the information, creates the best brief for the developers to build against. In the beginning, we will have in the brief that the agents will be using the Letta tool.
Sure.
Because we can run those agents in our platform, and they've become such great partners.
Yep.
The additional thing that Letta just did that is and yesterday, Letta just had a really exciting announce. They launched something called Letta Evals, and it is their evaluation grading model for their agents. And this for us was like such a big light bulb moment, because validating customizable agents is really complicated, because you can't have a standard benchmark like Ridges does. You just can't. So we've been like, this is where, before we had the community come in to support, but we realized, from feedback that could be gamed. We thought, up until this launch yesterday, is it human validation? While we build out this agent testing arena where you create agents that act as customers against that brief for clients to test it. But then when Letta dropped this yesterday, it was like, I was actually at my son's hockey practice, and one of my teammates was like, look what Letta just dropped. And I was like, this is like, are you kidding? Like, this is, so we got on with them this morning. So it's a very fresh launch. We got on with the founder, Sarah Wooders, this morning. Herself and her partner, Charles, are incredibly intelligent. We think like some of the best in the space. So we're going to work with them more on actually like how this works. Do we need customizable bits for us? But obviously they're excited about it as well, because, their model. And so then validation will happen for us in the subnet side by the validators, is they'll be looking at the Letta evals framework scorecard.
Very interesting, because I was going to ask, this was actually one of my biggest questions, right? Because we all want
our biggest question.
We know how Ridges works, right? Because they use the SWE benchmark, right? Software engineering benchmark, to basically grade how good of a software engineer their created agents are. It's like, we know what we're grading against. And I was thinking, I was like, well, it's sort of, Sundae Bar is sort of like Ridges, but they don't have a SWE test, right? Even we like
don't,
Hone,
and that's what we've been.
Yeah, even like Hone, the subnet has a standardized test to test for AGI, right? So they again have something, but I didn't know like what you guys had.
And Bitpast uses YouTube. Like you kind of need an external source of truth that can't be gamed internally. So this timeliness of it, and you're actually the first person that I've talked to about this. So this,
excellent.
You have a scoop, but we'll refine it with the team. We definitely have to get back, it's Friday, back with the Letta team, iron it out. But I am very hopeful that this could be a huge, in our whole process, something that, number one, it makes sure validators are validating the best agent. Number two, it makes sure we're getting the best agent, which again helps us drive revenue on our marketplace side. Because I think with our other model, what we could have had is agents that aren't useful. And that's just like a no-go for us. We need these agents, people to be like, love the agent, work great, buying another agent, upgrading my agent, all that stuff. So I think the process now has been simplified. Is it clear to you? So you come, you submit a brief, Sundae Bar takes that brief, boom, to the developer. Developers build Letta agents. Evals does the automated grading. Validators make sure the grades are all correct. We weight it. Best agent wins, goes back to the marketplace. And it also becomes a template and can get reposted on the marketplace. So other people then can buy it.
Yeah. So the one remaining question I have, that's very clear, by the way. Thank you for all of that. The one remaining question I have is sort of, how long do contests take to run? Like, and I don't like, how long, like I order up my agent, how soon do I get an agent back?
Yeah. Again, learnings like and this is where in this phase, like the more data we get, if it's a really complicated agent, I don't like the devs might need like 3 weeks on it, 4 weeks. They might need 5 days. It really depends on the agent. Yeah. We will also start to get really smart about what's on our platform. And there might be a Letta agent already on the platform that just needs a small tweak. So it's just like an upgrade sent back to the subnet. It could be an incredibly complex build that, internally we think we need to set this timeline for 3 months. It's going to be like a learning process, but we will do our best and we will learn to put the right timelines behind the build and the right price behind the brief.
Very interesting. Yeah, I've got an agent in mind for myself,
Oh, what
and
do you want?
I'll tell you what it is. So
Okay.
I have this whole other career, sort of part time as a novelist. This book over here, the
Oh, cool.
Max Quick, The Pocket Independent, published by
Yeah.
HarperCollins. That one was a
Little
massive hit.
plug.
That has millions of fans. But
Yeah.
this one, The Name in the Shadow, which is my latest one from like 2 or 3 years ago,
Yeah.
not nearly as big. But what I've found is it's sort of like an indie film that like some people really love,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have like broad appeal, right? It's a sci-fi thing.
Yeah. Like
But I
super
found,
niche,
yeah.
dedicated, hardcore
But
market.
if I can find those people, they absolutely love it. But the problem is, how do I
Yes.
find those people, right? So what I want is sort of like a book
Make your
salesman.
ICP. Yeah.
Yeah. Figure out who on X, I think, probably is the right place to market to everybody. Who on X is likely to like The Name in the Shadow by Mark Jeffrey, and, throw a little pitch out to them, show them a book trailer, or just, make them aware of the book and sell
Yeah.
for me. And
And you
I
could
just don't know how to
have your
find those
agent,
people, right?
well, you could have your agent build your ICP, like who's your ideal customer profile.
Yes.
Start that way, start to build that. Where do they live? What do they like? What other things do they search? How do I reach them? Like, create a little piece of content with the words that, are really going to get them. So when I tweet, like, send me 10 posts that I should put on X to attract this audience.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
No,
Like, it's
these are all great
really
ideas.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you start thinking about it, it's endless. You could just be like,
And there's probably, I can tell you, like, I talked to a lot of authors, or not recently because I'm neck deep in BitTensor stuff over the last year or so. But before that, I had a lot of author friends I would talk to a lot about author stuff. And, we're all trying to solve this problem of like, how do we find our people? Like we
how do
know
you find
that,
your customers?
right? Like we don't have to be Harry Potter. We just have to sell
Yeah.
to a couple 100,000 people to do pretty well. Right.
Yeah.
So, but the question is, how do we find those couple 100,000 people, sifting through the haystack, right? It feels like
How do
AI
you
should be able
find
to
them?
find those people. Yeah.
And it will. And that's your customer profile. Who are they? Where do they live? What kind of content should I be producing to reach them?
A lot of authors would buy this bot if it existed. That much I can tell you.
Let's
yeah.
test. Once we get this all hooked up,
Yeah.
we're going to test this. This could be,
I would love to do
yeah.
that.
We'll put in the brief and we'll learn from you and you'll make money from us.
It all sounds very good to me. So there's a little bit of Bitcast in here because you guys are sort of refining the brief. Yeah, I love that model. And I'm a consumer of Bitcast as like a video producer, so I'm very familiar with what I participate in their subnet. So really cool stuff.
I want to start participating in it too for Sundae Bar. I want to start creating our content through there.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about now. I've created an agent, right? Let's say I've created the author salesman agent, right? And so now you've built it. I paid you. You've built it. It now exists in your catalog. Now it gets I tell all my author friends about it. I'm like, hey, you got to come over here and rent this thing. It'll sell like crazy for you. Do I get to wet my beak on those sales? Do I get like a little slicey slice
from writing the brief?
Well, for like, it's my agent, right? Like I defined it. I paid for it.
Yeah.
And now it's in your catalog. Is that something, who owns it? I guess is what I'm asking, right? Like, and I actually don't know the answer to this. Do you own it, or do I sort of co-own it and I get a little vig on it? Or like, how does that work?
So that's actually a really interesting point. So how we see it is the developer actually owns the agent, and you bought the product from the developer that was customizable for you, because the platforms you want to speak to your audience on, you're finding your audience to match what you want will be different from the next people. So the agent would then go on the platform as like a template of that, like a shell of it that the next person would customize. So the developer keeps earning money from the agent. So they're earning emissions when they're building it through the subnet, and then they're earning fiat once it's in the marketplace.
Okay, so the developer is continuously making revenue and could make
because they built the product.
But the definer, whoever wrote like sort of the product spec, and paid for it, they don't participate in continuing sales. At least as designed now.
So as designed last week, you definitely did, because we actually saw the brief writers as minors, because we, like you're saying, they're extremely important in that process of defining what it is. So Sundae Bar is now the brief writer because we're taking
Mm,
your information. But I'm going to write that down as a note because like you're the idea.
right.
You're
Like it
like,
kind of
you're the
feels like I
kernel
should
of
get
idea.
something. Like maybe,
I feel
maybe
like
not.
you should get something too.
I feel like those other people, like absolutely, like they're doing the bulk of the work, so they should get the most of it, right?
It
But
could be that your account on Sunday Bar, and again, learning, so we're learning
yeah, of
together,
course.
is connected. So it's like affiliate sales. So every time anyone buys that, what are we calling your author agent?
Yep.
Kickback goes back to you as
Yeah,
like, and
I
it
get
just
to
goes
wet
into
my
your
beak.
wallet. Wet your beak.
Yeah, there you go.
Because, you know, we have your wallet, we have all your credentials, we know where it came from.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. And I think that is also making people think about smarter briefs to create agents
yes,
because
they will.
there's an endless amount of agents you could build.
Yeah.
So,
I'll bet you guys
and
would have
so,
never thought of book salesman, right? And it's only because I live in this little book world with all my little weird author friends and have been living in it
yeah,
for the last 25 years or so that like
yeah,
I know how, like what the conversations how they go, right? So
yeah,
you want, and I'll bet there's lots of people that know about lots of niches out there. And if you incentivize them to come to you because they know they're going to make a
yeah,
little bit, like it doesn't have to be that much even, right? But like
yeah.
if their agent blows up out of nowhere, they could do quite well. They
And
will
I
come.
truly believe, like with BitTensor, incentivizing every step of the way, that is really important,
Yes,
you know, and it creates better products. And in the end, it helps our business more.
absolutely. So yeah,
Wet
okay.
the
So
beak. Like it.
everybody gets to wet their beak if they contribute. Like they have to contribute. They can't be
If they
extracted.
contribute. Yeah. Yeah. And if your agent sells again, that means you came up with a good idea. And if you're not wetting your beak, if your agent's terrible, it probably won't even pass our process to get
Yeah,
to the subnet.
you might be super surprised at like what takes off. Right, I'll bet like whatever agents go
I
crazy, you're gonna be
agree.
like, I would have never guessed in a million years it would have been that one, right? And it'll be like
That's,
80% of your sales, right? Something like that, just because there's this weird little
yeah. And
world somewhere that nobody knows that you don't know about, but this person did, right?
and
Yeah.
this small task, or it's actually like takes up a lot of time task, but it's like when AI jumps in and automates it, people are like, yes. I know,
Yes.
I'm so excited once we're able, like I love data, I love numbers, and I like moving the business forward based off that. Like once we start to see that come in, because everyone's like, oh, there'll be sales agents and marketing agents and HR agent. Yes, in those frameworks, but what underneath that's really going to pop?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The sort of subcategories. Well, let's talk about you for a little bit because I know you.
Oh,
Part of what I love about this whole thing is that you come out of Red Bull and
yes.
you have a consumer mind, a consumer marketing mind,
Yeah.
which
Yes,
like
I do.
nobody else in BitTensor has, right? That I've seen so far, right? Just even down to the name of your subnet being Sundae Bar. It's like a happy little, and descriptive thing, right? It's very sort of brand. It's
So
very
fun.
consumer marketing,
Yeah.
right? Whereas most of the subnets are like
Yeah.
gradients. I don't want to rip on
Yeah.
gradients. I think it's a wonderful product, but like
Yeah.
let's just be honest. Gradients is not like it's not like a consumer brand name, right? So, and
Yeah.
I think BitTensor needs more front end. It's got a lot of back end.
Yeah.
It's got a
It
giant,
has a lot of back
wonderful
end.
back end, but it doesn't have. And this is starting to change, but it needs more front end. It needs more of your type of vibe. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about like what you were doing before this and your experience at Red Bull, and how did you even get into this? Because it doesn't seem like a career path going from Red Bull to Subnet, right? Like, kind of an odd
I'm gonna
career path. Right? Like, how did
go
that happen?
from making people do double backflips out of
Yeah,
helicopters into deep AI crypto
yeah,
world. Okay, my journey, yes, and honestly, like growing up in the Red Bull system as a marketer, brand builder, community builder is like next to none. It is such an incredible place to work. Like it's privately owned, but it acts like an entrepreneurial company and you are encouraged to take risks. And I was on the media market side. I led the media and content team for Red Bull Canada for many years. And you are tasked with creating events and experiences that no one else has done before. And it's like that. Oh, I can't believe I'm watching this. So all the ideas actually come from the athletes. So Red Bull has athletes. Every idea comes from them. Like they say, thinking I live just outside of Vancouver, we have these big shipping containers. And one of our BMXers was like, I have this idea to just like ride my BMX and do tricks and flips off the shipping container in the ocean. Or, he did it on land and then we were going to move it to the ocean. And then we take that idea and bring it to life. So it was incredibly lucky to be able to play with significant budgets to do things that no one else was doing. So you got really pushed on how do you create contents and experiences that really land with customers. Red Bull was also in gaming. So they signed their first athlete in 2008. In gaming, when it was really coming up in 2020, 2021, there was an individual who I still work with today. He's on the board of Sundae Bar. He wanted to co-found a company for women in gaming because there was a big discrepancy between what was being marketing experiences tech for women in gaming versus men. Like the market was 50-50. Mm-hmm. Women play a lot of video games, but all the marketing was just to men. Like really lopsided. So
when you say gaming, you mean video games. You don't mean
video
like
gaming
roulette. You don't mean like Vegas.
No.
Yeah.
No, video games like Overwatch, Fortnite, COD. Yeah. And so we co-founded a company where we created media products and tech products predominantly focused to women. It is fantastic. It's still running. It's doing very well still. We have a couple of Discord bots where they are esports tournament engines. We created an extension for Twitch for streamers. And that company was Padia Gaming, another name. It means goddess of play and amusement. And when you're in the state of Padia in game, you're constantly in the happiest state of gaming. So devs and psychologists want to keep you there so that you're always playing. And he was in the process of merging two different companies to launch Sundae Bar, and asked me if I'd come over to lead that. So I moved to an advisory role on Padia and took on the role of CEO of Sundae Bar. So I jumped in last fall. We merged the two companies and then relisted them as Sundae Bar on AIM.
Interesting, because I did listen to some of your previous podcast episodes, specifically Revenue Search, obviously, and I was very much and you mentioned that you are a publicly listed company, which I believe is completely unique in subnets. Like there's no other subnets that are also public companies, and you're a public company on the London Stock Exchange.
AIM, the AIM Stock Exchange.
Okay, so why
London?
Well, no, just why a public company? Why not just start a new company? Why use an existing publicly listed company? What is the thinking there?
So the two companies, and this is all in our AIM admission doc. The two companies we merged, one was an AI vision technology company called Condor AI, and they actually came out with an incredible piece of tech early, which was like AI vision technology, and you could show it your salad, it would tell you what you do, or an outfit and say, looks like you got that, or you could buy that from H&M. But then like the Googles and the Apples came out right behind it. We had 60,000 users on that. And it was like, that is not going to work. So let's pause that. And then the other company that we acquired was a carbon marketplace. So what we said is we're in AI. We love AI. We see so much future in it. We actually see the biggest future with agents. Here's another company that has a marketplace. Let's buy them and we'll merge the two to make an AI agent marketplace. So the companies were already listed. They were listed on Aquis, and then we shifted them to AIM because AIM is LSE attached. And it's just, we felt like it was a better match. They're a better match for a more innovative tech startup. And then on the public market side, which I think is massively helpful to our business, and actually like the BitTensor community, is we have obviously the governance we have to abide by, but we have access to capital. Like you can raise. And so that's where, I think that's why you're
Massive
publicly
advantage.
listed. You
Yeah,
know,
because no,
it
yeah,
is a massive advantage. It is because, capital is everything and it can be hard to raise. I raised for Padia, different time. 2021 was a great time to raise. And then that has shifted and, just everyone's benchmarks have changed, etc. But when you have a good business and a good product, you can raise. And we, like a lot of my job too, like is to be educating our shareholders on and our stakeholders on like, what is this BitTensor thing? Like,
yeah.
what is this subnet? And, the first time I had a conversation with them all, they're like, oh,
Like
but
what?
we've,
Yeah,
what? Yeah. But we've been, really vigilant and they're keen to learn because they see the value. Like BitTensor is incredible. It is a way to push like whatever product and you're trying to move forward with this decentralized network. And I think access to like the best developers, period, to help you build your product. Now they get it. And so we can lean into that, into their support.
yeah. No, it's an
And to,
insane force multiplier on whatever you got. Right. I mean,
it
just look at
is.
Ridges. Ridges has exceeded the product of a company that's worth about
Oh,
180
it's so
billion
insane.
dollars, and they spent
Yeah.
let's say $1 million total. Like it's probably
Yeah,
that's probably the realistic amount, just because of the insane
exactly.
force
Like
multipliers
he's
of BitTensor. Yeah,
bootstrapped that. What, like Shaq is incredible. Hey, like he
yeah,
was one of the first subnet owners I met and I was very new and I am not a dev. And I was like, oh
yeah,
my God, this kid is he's a Canadian too. So smart, so nice.
yeah.
Like
All the above.
incredible. And like, how do all the subnets work together? Like, Ridges miners can mine on Sundae Bar. Like there's so
Yes.
much synergy, which I also love about this ecosystem is everyone like subnets to work together. Again, force multiplier will be better the more we work together. How do you lean in
Subnet
to use to
stacking.
build subnet stacking and the community support? It's been really incredible. But yeah, that's how I got to being the CEO of a publicly listed company and then the BitTensor part came out. Our now CTO, who's also based in London, who runs our team of devs, has like been across BitTensor for a long time. He builds agents, he's mined on Ridges and other platforms. And he was like, this was probably, good Lord, time, like 8 months ago, 9 months ago. It was well before we listed, we should look at this. And I was like, this would be a great agent pipeline, but couldn't really do anything until we had listed. And then that's why we bought our subnet on the 19th, because the whole time we've been thinking, how do we lean into this to create these agents for our platform? And then on our platform, we know we can monetize and sell them and support the subnet back through our sales.
So, okay, so you were effectively recruited to be CEO. Is that correct?
I guess I was. Yeah. I guess so. Yes. I was.
And so, who recruited you? Like, who's is there a person or is there an entity that recruited you?
No. So, a gentleman named Jonathan, who is on our board. He has, I don't know the exact number today. I think he has 15 publicly listed companies in London.
Oh, wow.
And I've worked with him on I've worked with him on projects. We have overlap and he thought I would be a good fit for this one. So he asked me to come.
Wow. Incredible story.
Yeah.
Incredible story.
Yeah. We opened the stock market I got to push the button. So
Congratulations.
Yeah, I thought I'd have a big bell, but it was a button.
And you're right. Like basically people like the Ridges, like not really Ridges miners, but consumers of the Ridges product, right? Which is launching like in 7 or 8 days, something like that, right? Once that launches, I could go over and pay I think it's going to be like $24 a month to Shack, which is incredibly cheaper than the competition.
Yes.
$24 a month. I'm vibe coding. I could be vibe coding up agents on Sundae Bar and winning contests over there and earning subnet tokens. So that could be amazing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another reason why we love Letta. And when we were talking to Sarah this morning at Letta, why we like them is you could be like a vibe coder, low code dev, or you could be a really experienced dev and their product works for you. So like there's an agent that just launched on our platform called Side Hustle, and it, you know, you like, this is also going to be a side hustle for people. Like, you know, as money gets harder, as jobs get harder, you can have these, well, I think they're kids because I'm older, but they're probably not. They go to their job, do whatever they do, and then they can be like spinning out agents that make sense for people to buy and making like really decent money from it.
Yeah, it could be it could be an incredible side hustle. We all know that there are top AI devs at, you know, some of the top AI companies in the world who are going home at night and mining BitTensor by doing, you know, basically
Absolutely.
on multiple subnets, right? So
Yeah,
it's already a side.
absolutely.
BitTensor is a side hustle for some of the top AI minds in the world already. So
Yeah,
you know, it's
and
just another
people
opportunity.
can side hustle Sundae Bar all day long. Just make those agents that, you know, match the brief and people want to purchase.
Interesting. So how many people are in your company roughly at this point?
Roughly right now, half is in Vancouver, half is in London. On the dev team, we have our CTO in about 4 under.
Okay.
And then we have obviously marketing, we have our CFO, we have a lot of support because we are publicly listed,
Sure.
even with our like external support, like our lawyers, our auditors. Everyone loves an auditor.
Right. You have a lot of overhead that most of these companies and and subnets don't have, but it comes with a lot of benefits also in terms of being able to access money. So more than worth it. Okay. Well, I think that sort of covers everything from my notes anyway. Is there anything I should have asked that I didn't?
No, I think we're covered out. I think you'll excited for a couple announcements coming up from us. What I really want to do with the subnet and the business as a whole, really keep people informed on what we're doing. As we all know, as you learn, things do shift and change, and the feedback is invaluable. And, you know, we will always do our best to launch the right system. At the end of the day, we need a product that delights a user so they buy it. So yeah, I think us keeping everyone updated on everything we're doing, even the build, we're trying to show everyone from like our shareholders to our like alpha token holders what we're doing. So because they're all invested in the business, and it's our responsibility. I take great responsibility to my shareholders and token holders to build something that's going to be incredible. So we'll do our job of keeping everyone up to date, but always, you know, we are learning and excited to see this grow.
Yeah, it sounds like you're on a good path to me. I love everything I've heard today. So congratulations on all this progress, and totally looking forward to where all this goes. Are there any websites or Twitter handles you want to plug?
SundayBar.ai.
Yep.
And and our Twitter, Sundae Bar as well, Discord. We do have a newsletter called the Sunday Scoop. That it's such a fun name to play with.
It definitely is.
Oh yeah, and we're creating this little like ice cream emoji. You know, I don't know, like if you've been in Notion or Asana when like the unicorn flies across when you complete a task.
Yes.
We're going to be like, so if you do something really good, sprinkles will come down on your Sunday, the cherry at the end.
Yep. All the fun little stuff. Okay.
All the fun stuff. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Mark.
All the stuff Gradients doesn't have because they're mean. So this is a friendly, happy brand name. A lot more fun. Lot more fun. I don't want to bag on Gradients. I'm sorry, Gradients people. I'm not ripping on you. I think you're wonderful.
I love you, Gradients.
Yeah. All right, everybody. My name is Mark Jeffrey. This has been Hash Rate. We'll see you all next time.